In your car, listen to Newswatch 16 on WKRZ AM 1340.
Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, Chief Meteorologist Tom Clark with his backyard forecast, and Joe Zone on sports. This is the Newswatch 16 update.
In New York tonight, things are settling down after an exciting and hectic day of pomp and ceremony. The occasion, the installation of former Scranton Bishop John J. O'Connor as Archbishop of New York. The packed St. Patrick's Cathedral watched and worshipped with the man appointed to the chair vacated by the late Terence Cardinal Cook. Newswatch 16's Dan Fiorucci spent the day in New York covering Scranton's gift to New York.
All morning long, preparations were underway. Police set up barricades outside the church, and local reporters got ready to tell New Yorkers about the big story. And while preparations for the installation were going on down the block at St. Patrick's Cathedral, up here on 53rd Street, dozens of Scranton residents were arriving to watch the installation on closed-circuit television at St. Thomas Episcopal Church. As the buses arrived from Northeast Pennsylvania, people were clearly enjoying themselves.
Very, very exciting. Good to be here. We're going to enjoy it very much. It's a big loss for Scranton, but a good gain for the church as a whole.
I feel very sad, but glad, because I'm not only a good Scrantonian, but I'm a good New Yorker, too.
A few minutes later, the Archbishop arrived to say hello to the Scranton group. He also took a moment to talk with us.
To Scranton! Oh, to all my beloved. Tell everyone I'll never stop loving them for 1 second of my life. Thank you so much.
While most people appeared excited by the arrival of the Archbishop, others were deeply disturbed. Across the street from St. Patrick's Cathedral, a group of pro-abortion demonstrators protested the Archbishop's likening of the 4,000 abortions performed each day in this country to the Nazi Holocaust.
I think it's outrageous. Who appointed him God? Who makes the Catholic Church better than the Protestants or Jews or people of no faith? Women who want abortions, it's their right to have this as a procedure. It is not the right of any tyrant to tell somebody else that we're murderers or we're killers because we differ.
Inside the church, Archbishop O'Connor didn't engage in name-calling, but he did stand by the church's stance on abortion. He also took time in his introductory remarks to rib Mayor Koch.
Mr. Mayor, how am I doing? All of you think I meant Mayor Koch. I meant Mayor McNulty of Scranton.
Finally, the Archbishop closed with these words.
I need your strength. I need your wisdom. I need your counsel. And above all, I need your love. And oh, how much, how very much I will love you in return. God bless you.
And so if the Big Apple has a bit more luster on it tonight, maybe it's because it now carries with it a small but valued piece of Scranton. Dan Fiorucci, Newswatch 16, New York.
Some people in Schuylkill County have been holding a 24-hour vigil outside an old chemical company. As Night Beat reporter Bob Costantini explains, it's all because of their concern over hazardous chemicals.
The old Keystone Chemical Company. Skycam 16 reveals the plant is located in the bottom of a valley between Ashland and Shenandoah, just outside of tiny Girardville in Butler Township. Waste Conversion Incorporated of Montgomery County wants to reopen the plant. It closed under other ownership in 1982 after the Department of Environmental Resources cited numerous violations there. Efforts to reopen this plant as a chemical disposal company have sparked opposition from residents in nearby Girardville.
As you can see here on the ground, the land around what was the Keystone Chemical Company is all old mining land. That's just one of the reasons why many people in Girardville don't want this plant to reopen.
It is undermined, and I'd say it's like in some places it's 5 feet to the water level and 10 feet.
A group calling itself People Against Keystone Chemical Organization Paco, has set up a 24-hour picket stand at the entrance to the plant.
My husband and I just bought a home down the road here. In fact, it's only at the end of this street. And when we found out that they were trying to open up again, we were really upset about it. I mean, we've got a lot to lose living this close to...
Keystone Chemical is closed right now, pending DER approval of work that's being done to improve the plastic liners under the lagoons. What's in the frozen lagoon now is left over from when the previous owners went bankrupt. That same scenario has a lot of residents here worried.
It's put here, and they leave, then we stay here forever. Well, will their liner be here forever?
According to DER in Wilkes-Barre, the plant may be able to open in mid-July. The people here tell us they'll keep the picket line up at least until then. Bob Costantini, Newswatch 16, Girardville, Schuylkill County.
Our state senators are supposed to talk about the giardiasis threat tomorrow in Harrisburg. Newswatch 16 has learned exclusively that 2 local senators are calling for a special government committee to investigate the contaminated water problems in Lackawanna and Luzerne counties. Senator Ray Musto and Robert Mello say that they want to know if PG&W is handling the problems correctly and whether the company can pay for filtration out of its profits. The proposed committee may also ask to check PG&W's books.
Coming up, Central Pennsylvania's life-saving spaceship.
Plus, a little bit later, more great expectations at the Newswatch 16 Update Video Zoo. We'll find out what Ling's been up to as the update continues.
Hi, I'm Jane Adonisio.
And I'm Chad Booth. Tomorrow night, TM Magazine will be visiting the Doctor's Pet Center in the Lehigh Valley Mall in Whitehall.
A normal day is 12 hours of work.
On our next show, visit the set of Hardcastle and McCormick to see what it's really like.
And what flower do you think of when you think of spring? The tulip? Of course. Well, we'll visit Holland to see where the tulip tradition began.
Watch tomorrow at 7 on WNEP TV 16.
The Geisinger Medical Center in Danville has received a new emergency helicopter. And as Newswatch 16's Craig Stevens reports, some say the flying emergency room is the best in the country.
You're looking at a helicopter dubbed the Spaceship. It's said to be the most advanced medical emergency life support helicopter in the world. It's Geisinger Medical Center's new Life Flight helicopter, the only one of its kind in existence. The new $1.2 million copter is bigger, faster, and better than the old Life Flight. This one is a virtual flying emergency room.
We have elbow room to do effective CPR because we can get right on top of the patient. It's a faster aircraft, which means that, especially with the trauma victim, that we can get them back to a trauma center within the golden hour.
Not only is it faster, but it's safer than the old helicopter. This one has 2 engines made in Williamsport.
That is, if one engine fails, we can still maintain flight. We fly a lot of areas up north of here. There's no landing areas at all should you have an engine failure. With this machine, we'll be able to just keep on cruising.
I got to ride in the new helicopter and was impressed. So far, Life Flight has transferred over 1,500 patients since the program started 3 years ago. The hospital says it's nice to know the best flying ambulance in the world is right here in our backyard. Craig Stevens, Newswatch 16 in Life Flight above Montour County.
And next on Newswatch 16 Update, meteorologist Tom Clark will be heading out to his backyard to count down the hours until spring.
Well, it's the last night of winter. What's it like out there, Tom?
Not too bad now, Karen. Spring begins at 5:25 tomorrow.
In the morning?
In the morning, the vernal equinox. And when we come back, I'll tell you what kind of weather we're going to have to kick off the spring season.
Lily Tomlin and Art Carney, tomorrow.
It appears there are plenty of potholes popping up or down here in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. The state's pothole hotline has been in service for a week now, and so far 173 people have called to complain about the road craters. If there's a pothole you're fed up with, call one of these numbers toll-free. Now look for your county when it comes up on the screen. The first number, 1-800-332-6752. That's for all the counties listed. 1-800-432-8010 for those counties that you see. 1-800-322-9550 for those counties. And the last number we have is 1-800-252-3549 for those 3 counties that you see on your screen.
And I've got a whole list of potholes.
Yeah, I have a couple too.
Maybe I'll make that phone call first thing in the morning. How about you out there, Tom?
Me too, Nolan. I want to write that number down a little bit later on. Hey, not bad for the last night of winter outside now. Lots of signs of spring over the area. I saw 5 robins over the weekend, and a sign of spring in this backyard is that the rabbits are back. Get away, guys. Come on, get away, back. Temperature now looks like this under the cloudy sky that we have. Not too bad. The reading, it's tough out here, I'm telling you. 36 degrees now. The humidity 72%. The wind west at 5. And the barometer now is holding steady, 30.04 inches. Look at that range in temperature today, not too far from the normal. 44, that high. The low last night, 35. The records, look at that, 74. And -4 set back in 1967. A shot there from Skycam 16, looking at some sun rays over the Wyoming Valley. Kind of a pretty shot at about 1,000 feet there. How about from 22,000 miles in space? Look at this storm system here off the coast of New England. It is stalled, and it has been responsible for lots of cloudy air coming down into Pennsylvania over the past couple of days. But a good bit of mild air is coming up tonight from the south ahead of this monster storm system here tonight over Illinois. Some tornadoes have touched down today in southern Illinois and down in Arkansas. Golf ball size hail in western Kentucky. That's a lot of fun to be out in. And even 2 inches of rain in New Orleans from one thunderstorm of late this afternoon. You can see the bright clouds here as the leading edge of colder air comes in behind that storm. This line will be crossing over northeastern and central Pennsylvania during the day on Wednesday, and with it probably some heavy rain and maybe some thunder and lightning as well before some slightly colder air comes in for later on this week. But tomorrow looks quite nice. Now here's the forecast for the rush hour tomorrow morning. I think there's still going to be quite a bit of cloudiness around, and in some areas those clouds may be down on the ground, causing some fog, but it will be a dry start. 30 in Towanda, 33 in Hawley, 34 in Wanamaie, Muncie, and Sunbury. And our good friends watching down there in Stroudsburg, your low tomorrow morning about 35 degrees. During the day tomorrow, some clouds will break up to allow some mild sunshine to come through, about 10 degrees warmer tomorrow than what it was today, and I'm looking forward to that. 51 in New Milford, 54 in Plains, 56 Pottsville, Danville, in the middle 50s out in Jersey Shore. A southerly wind in the afternoon at about 14 miles per hour, helping to bring that warm air up our way. Above normal temperatures on the first day of spring, you just may be in a good mood, so get set. Sunrise and sunset, it rises at 6:07 due east and sets at 6:15 p.m. due west. That's the case when we have the equinox coming tomorrow. Partly cloudy tonight, a mild day tomorrow. I think you'll like it. I think even Karen Harch will like tomorrow's weather. 54 for the high. The rain coming in on Wednesday could be heavy into Wednesday night, maybe a thunderstorm. Some leftover showers on Thursday, and near 40 on Friday. At last, spring. And Nolan, Karen told me that she's going to be getting up at 5:25 to experience this.
She promised me that, too.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom.
No.
That's rare.
See you tomorrow, Tom. Coming up, still another visit to the Newswatch 16 Update Video Zoo.
Plus, a big night in college basketball's other tournament, and looking to fill some big shoes in the Phillies infield. Joe Zone and the 16 Sports Screen next.
WNEP salutes Pennsylvania's winningest high school basketball coach.
The circus is coming, the circus is coming. But from the looks of things in Public Square in Wilkes-Barre today, you think the circus was already here. This Highwire act by John Lemoyne and his daughter Michelle gives us a taste of what the Shrine Circus is going to be like when it comes to the 109th Armory next week. The Lemoynes rode a motorcycle on a high wire some 90 feet off the ground and up to the top of the Sheraton Cross Gates. If you want to see more, you can go to the circus next week. Money made goes to the Shriners Hospitals and projects for crippled children.
Wonder if Joe Zone could top that act. I don't know.
That's the best way to get to your room, I'll tell you that. Do you know that 2 weeks from today, the baseball season starts?
All right.
2 weeks? It must be spring, right? Yeah, remember last year, 2 feet of snow, both places? Well, the teams are starting to make the big cuts. Phillies dumped 10 guys today. Still need to drop 12 to reach the opening day limit of 25. One guy who's definitely made the club this year is first baseman Len Matuszek, and that's a first for him.
It may take some getting used to, big Len Matuszek out there at first base, but unless he fails miserably down here this spring, he's going to be the Phillies' starting first baseman come opening day.
And it's taken a long time for Matuszek to win this job. He's been in the Phillies organization for 8 years. He'll be 30 in September. And just when he was getting ready to move up to the big club, along came Pete Rose, and Matuszek was banished back to the minors.
Yeah, I'm probably pressing a little bit because I know that there's quite a bit of focus and attention on not only myself, but on Sammy at second base and on some of the other situations that we have going on with the ball club. And you always like to do well, and you always like to kind of calm the critics early.
Matuszek has not been quieting the critics so far. He knows the job is his, but he also knows a lot of people are expecting big things from him. He hit .320 with 24 homers and 92 RBI with the Phillies AAA Portland team last year. The Phillies brass is expecting nearly the same kind of success here. So Matuszek is pressing, but he's been through this kind of thing before.
I have to feel like I had a mental toughness just to come back to Philadelphia and put myself out there last year on the line after all the failures that I had, and with the situation surrounding the ball club with Pete and everything. That was pressure, you know, and I felt real good about handling that.
Matuszek has been waiting a long time for this chance, and while he's gotten off to a slow start this spring, he's confident he'll be ready when the season begins. Still, outfielder Von Hayes has been seen working this spring with the first baseman's glove, and that can't do too much to bolster Matuszek's confidence. And Matuszek wasn't heard much from today. None of the Phillies were. In fact, Toronto beat the Phils 9-1. Jerry Koosman beat up by the Blue Jays. Phillies are 7-10 now in Florida. Pirates' John Candelaria says it's time to move on. The Pirate ace wants to renegotiate or be traded. The Pirates won't accommodate on either end. And remember this guy, Detroit pitcher Denny McLain? What a season he had in '68. He won 31 games that year for the Tigers. All downhill since today, charged with racketeering, conspiracy, cocaine violations, loan sharking, extortion, and those are just the things they think they can prove. Okay, let's go to the NIT scoreboard now. Big night in the National Invitational Tournament. Notre Dame over Boston College, 66-52. Michigan beat Marquette, 83-70. Elsewhere, Xavier over Nebraska, 58-57. Tennessee beat Tennessee Chattanooga, 68-66. Couple more, Weber State and Southwest Louisiana. They're in double overtime right now. Santa Clara beat Lamar, the final there, 76-74. And only one game tonight in the NBA, Detroit, Utah. No final yet on that one. One game in the United States Football League tonight. New Orleans and Jacksonville. Take a look at the highlights of that one. Right there, that's Buford Jordan. He goes from his 11 to their 11 for New Orleans. All they could get was a field goal. But then, Walton to Lockett, right here. Walton to Lockett for a touchdown, 10-0. New Orleans. And the guy everybody came to see, Marcus Dupree. Watch this one, a 42-yarder, the third touchdown of his career, and New Orleans up on top. They're leading now 31-9, and it's in the fourth. The NFL's commissioner, Pete Rozelle, said tonight that his league will not draft underclassmen until forced to by law. 2 weeks ago, you remember, a judge ruled that the USL could not have a league rule preventing the signing of underclassmen. America's team is also the most expensive team. Dallas Cowboys sold today for $80 million. That is a record. They're not going to move. National Hockey League tonight, 2 finals, 2 games only. Philadelphia beat New Jersey 4-3. Montreal now clinched a playoff spot. They beat Chicago 2-1. And the date's been set for the Larry Holmes Jerry Coetzee fight. They'll go June 6th, but they don't know where just yet. Quick look at the fish and game forecast for tomorrow. Of course, the fishing, you know, the trout stuff really not coming up for a few more weeks yet. There's the best times. That's all the time I got.
All right.
All right.
We'll
more
just take
spring
over
training
then.
tomorrow.
Okay.
Good.
Very good, Joe.
Thanks,
Thank
Joe.
you. Still ahead, Love and Bloom at the Newswatch 16 Update Video Zoo.
We'll tell you what may be blossoming when we come back. Finally tonight, 2 trips to our Newswatch 16 Update Video Zoo. First, we visit with some old friends who are apparently becoming very friendly. You remember Ling, that popular panda at Washington's National Zoo? Well, biologically, this is the best time for Ling to get pregnant. So zookeepers are allowing Ling to socialize with her boyfriend, Sing. The pair of pandas mated this morning, then it happened again later in the day. You may remember that last year Ling's newborn cub died shortly after it was born. Well, if all goes well this time, Ling could be a mama by mid-July.
We're hoping. We're also welcoming back some of our fine-feathered friends. Today, the official day for the swallows to make their way back to San Juan Capistrano. But some of those who gathered at the historic Southern California mission can't tell if the birds are swallows or pigeons.
I just saw one right there.
I've seen a lot of pigeons. I don't think we've seen any swallows as yet.
I've seen one small brown swallow.
How could you tell it was a swallow?
Because my mother said it was, and I believe her.
The tiny cliff swallows spend the winter in Argentina, then fly 6,000 miles in 6 weeks back to the States. And that is our report for tonight.
For the team, thanks for being with us.
Good night.
Good night.